Hey YouTube!
What's up? So thank you for joining us on this brand new episode in our brand new room.
Do you guys like the painting behind us? It's rainbow. You can see half of it.
So if you didn't watch our apartment tour, you should watch that because we are shooting in a brand new room of our apartment that you have never seen before. We are very excited about that because we've actually been spending like all of our time in this room, and now you get to spend some time here too. So welcome to our new room.
So that leads into our next topic. We asked you all on Twitter and Facebook and all of those good social media channels to ask us about our engagement. We're gonna do an Ask Two Beeps engagement edition.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
William asked, have you decided on a date and place for the wedding?
We have actually, but like that's really recent. That's as of this week. I don't know, do you want to reveal that?
Are we gonna reveal it?
We'll give you a broad spectrum answer. We're gonna get married this fall. It is official in the month of September.
And we are going to be getting married in the city of Brooklyn.
Which is nice because we don't have to travel far for our venue and event.
And I like the idea of getting married in Brooklyn. It's where we spent the last 7 years of our relationship. The majority of our relationship has been in New York. And it'll be fun for all of our non-New York friends to come into the city and have a long weekend in Brooklyn.
And all of our New York friends will be able to come too, which is nice because I think the majority of our friends are here in New York, so it'll be good. Zippy asked, what, if any, differences have taken place in your relationship after you got engaged?
We fight all the time.
So I think actually like it has made our relationship stronger, which like who knew was possible? But it's true. It's kind of fun to have like a project to focus on. Like we just sent out some save the dates and it was like this whole thing we were excited about. We were like designing the invites and all that stuff.
I think part of the reason why our relationship works well is because our communication is good. Planning something like a wedding can be very stressful, but I think so far we've been pretty good about communicating if we are stressed out or if we feel like the other person isn't listening or hearing what we're saying. There have been a few, things that we haven't necessarily agreed on, but we've been able to talk them out. We've been building the website, so we've been finding some old pictures from like our early relationship where we look like we're 12 years old.
Oh my god.
And it's just so funny to like see how long we've been together and how much has changed in that time.
We look like infants.
Right.
It's crazy. We should show like one of those pictures now. Oh my god. Oh my god.
We're so little. Dan asked, what is your fairy tale wedding? I don't think that I ever grew up with the concept of a fairy tale wedding. I never really thought about the idea of getting married, I guess. But I think for me, it's less about the venue or the aesthetic or even like the music or the food. For me, the most important thing is just having everyone I care about in one place at the same time.
I think maybe growing up I had like the idea of having one like on the beach, on the water and everything, but I don't know how much of that was just me like, this would be cool versus what we're realistically going to do. I think we're having our fairy tale wedding.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. There's gonna be lots of alcohol, so.
That's crucial for a fun wedding.
Fairy tale. Rosie asked, what are you guys planning on doing for your honeymoon?
Ooh.
Well, we don't have anything planned yet. We were spitballing a few ideas though, and we're like, we should go somewhere that we haven't been before, but that's also not too stressful to experience. Because when we travel, we like to do like the cultural stuff and explore, and it doesn't really feel like a vacation. It feels like we are like
a trip. It's traveling, We've had this discussion offline a few times. We don't necessarily agree on the terminology, but I think for a honeymoon we want it to actually be a vacation, but we also don't necessarily want to go somewhere that's only
like just the beach.
Right.
We're thinking somewhere in Greece, but like not necessarily married to that idea. If you have any ideas though, let us know below.
We're open to anywhere in the world, so
almost
send them to us. Maybe not Antarctica. That would be kind of cold. Lane asked, how did your families react when you told them you were engaged?
Very differently. Actually, I think one of the videos we're gonna come out with soon is gonna have live reaction of John's extended family reacting to the news. That'll be cool, and we won't spoil that too much. But as far as like our direct parents were concerned,
it was a very different conversation.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
But like also very typical of what we expected. My parents are like, don't get me wrong, very excited about it and everything, but they're kind of like, oh, like, that's wonderful, congratulations, that's like great news. I think maybe they had just been like expecting it for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't like surprising to them. Mine, when we dropped the news, you literally just heard like my mom start screaming. I think even my dad probably screamed too.
But that's like not how my parents reacted.
No,
anyway,
exactly.
So.
I wouldn't. It would be out of character for your parents to do that.
Right.
So like, I think they reacted the way we expected them to, and they were both great reactions. Like I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But overall, very enthusiastic, very accepting, very loving. We're very lucky, very fortunate to have such supportive parents.
For sure. Joshua asked, what does your future look like now that you are engaged? Well,
that's a big question.
The immediate future is us planning for the wedding. From there, I don't know. I'm excited to just be like a married couple.
Yeah, I don't know how much it will change immediately. Actually, the bigger changes have been like more recently, like having our roommate move out. That's been a big change in our living situation.
And I had always told John, like, I don't want to get married until we have our own place. So that's kind of like all falling into place now. And I think that's going to be the main change of our life, is that we feel just like super adult having our own place in New York.
We've also never lived alone since college. This is the first time in probably like 9 years that we've actually lived by ourselves without any roommate.
That's the biggest change. And then from there, I don't think our dynamic will shift too much.
Lizzie asked, Beep 1, how did you know it was time to propose? So there were a few different contributing factors that led me to decide that now is the time. One of them was that I was turning 30. I felt like that was like a big milestone in my life. It also made me realize, and I said this in my proposal, turning 30 meant we had been together for 10 years. Or we had known each other for 10 years. We've been dating for 9 years. Another reason was I had just started a new job, and this job has allowed us to be able to live alone. And then the third thing was that we were going to Burlington. We go there every fall, and it's a really beautiful place. I basically decided to ask him about a month before the trip. A lot of things kind of converging all at once, all in the same span of a couple weeks, and it just felt like the right time. Lizzie also asked, Beep 2, were you surprised?
Like, again, yes and no. In the grand scheme of things, no, because like I kind of knew that was gonna happen for us. I didn't know it was gonna happen that day, that moment, but I kind of had thought about that same spot, like a good spot to propose. Part of me was thinking like, oh, well, what if? But it was still definitely a surprise.
You could tell from your reaction that it was genuine emotions there.
You can watch that again if you want. We've like shown that quite a bit.
Yeah.
A couple of you asked who will be keeping the other's last name.
Have we discussed this yet?
Not really. I think we kind of have like in the past though, and we decided like we're not gonna
change.
We're not gonna change last names or do like a compound last name. If we had like short, like one syllable last names, it might be nice, but we've kind of done the combinations of them and like...
Well, you have a space in your last name, so that already makes it tricky.
Yeah, I've got like a compound last name as it is. Your last name is like many syllables, so I think it would just be too cumbersome. So we're just gonna keep our last names as is.
One discussion we'll have to have down the road though is if we ever have kids, like, what their last name will be. So we're not gonna worry about that yet.
Can you just like make up a last name?
You can name someone wherever you want.
You can?
Yeah.
No, we'll just do that.
Okay. We don't have to discuss it anymore.
Okay.
Paul asked, Beep 1, was it hard to keep it a secret before asking Beep 2? I don't think it was difficult to keep it a secret. The only thing that was a little bit tricky the day of was that I was going to propose to him with a ring, even though it wasn't the ring. It was kind of like a toy ring. And I had to figure out a way to carry that on my person without him noticing. And I didn't have like a little case for the ring, so that actually made it a little easier. I just had it in some tissue paper that I stuffed in my back pocket. But I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't like ruffling through the bags and like finds this random ring being like, oh, I guess this is happening.
Right.
But as far as like keeping the secret, I had one friend that I told, and that was it. So I wasn't worried that the news was going to spill out to you and that you were going to hear anything. Because I wasn't super nervous up until like the moment I asked you, it wasn't hard to like act normal.
Joey asked, what is the most important thing for you guys when planning out your engagement? For me, it's most important just to keep things like uncomplicated, get too bogged down by like tradition or figure out like what we should or shouldn't do. It's our day, like we're gonna do what we want to do. Kind of reminding ourselves like, hey, there is no right way to do this. And try not to get too like stressed about the situation or like mad at each other, which we've done pretty well at so far.
Right, I think so too.
Yeah. It tastes like hot chocolate.
I had one of those today.
That's probably why.
What if I had had one like 2 days ago? Would that be gross?
I would be concerned.
Chris asked, what took you so long?
I think it was just the right time. Everything just kind of fell into place. Like I said, we wanted to make sure that we had our own space before we like started this next chapter. A lot of you guys have been waiting for us to announce this since we started YouTube. But honestly, I'm not sure we were even at the right level of maturity then.
I think we've grown a lot in the last 2 years, especially.
Yeah.
We both have therapists that have helped us a lot. I think that we wouldn't have been ready to get married or engaged. I think that the planning process of a wedding would have been totally different like 2 or 3 years ago than it is today. And also it's just really hard to live alone in New York. Like it's expensive. There were a lot of kind of like barriers that we maybe set up for ourselves, but I think was good. I'm glad we didn't rush into it.
It might have taken us a while, but honestly it was like right on time for us.
We also started dating when we were so young. We were still like babies when we started. We had a lot of growing to do both individually and as a couple, and so yeah, I think it just was a natural, organic time in our life to make this choice.
Kayoki asked me a question. Jeremy, if John hadn't asked you to marry him, would you have asked him? The answer is yes, but probably not like, well, no, definitely not on that trip. Like I wasn't prepared to do it then. I was thinking about it leading up to it, but I wasn't ready. I didn't have like my stuff in order. Maybe like the next year I would have been ready for that, but I had already been thinking about it. So it's not like marriage wasn't on the mind for me. So those are all of the questions that we have for you today.
We have lots more engagement content coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, we hope you guys have a lovely week. And yeah, I hate when people end sentences with yeah. I just did that though.
If there's any like pertinent question that we didn't answer, feel free to ask it below and we might answer it.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm Beep.
I'm Beep.
We're two Beeps.
Peacing out.
Beeps out.
Peace out. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Maybe we just would have been boyfriends forever. JK.
Did I just knock the camera?
A little bit. Don't knock until you try it.